Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, hi everyone. We have just woken up and we all work together. Debbie O'Brien, Troy Aldemas, and Rachael O'Brien. And one of our favorite things that we're going to share with you is after Talk to the Entities at the beginning, Shannon O'Hara recommends something called the business hours, which, by the way, I resisted for only 9 years. So you don't have to make yourself wrong. It's just a level of gratitude that I wasn't willing to have. So every day we do our business hours now, like every day. So I'm going to ask you guys, how has it impacted your daily living by choosing to do the business hours, and maybe a beautiful story?
You know what it does for me is that I only realized now after I did the beginning class, like how much noise there was in my world that actually was from entities.
Oh my God, thank you.
And you know that Justin's a medium, Justin's got amazing capacities, and I always thought that was his and not mine. Do you know what I mean? I do that sometimes.
You do.
And then I realized, wow. And then I did the business hours, and there was just this space that opens up, like just a different space. And actually I got yesterday, it allows you to be present, because when you're in the business hour, you have to be present. So when you're doing the business hours, you're present, and then you build that muscle of awareness and presence in your everyday life. And I've looked at what I've created since business hours, and it's like, wow, something else.
The big thing for me is when you discussed that, because business hours require so much presence, the being and receiving allows you to be more present in every area of your life, including money, including business,
Exactly.
particularly with people. Have you a lovely story? Anything that's like beautiful that showed up that really rocked your gratitude and got you to look at like how we are supported and provided for?
No, not in these 10. I'll have a think now while Troy's talking.
Try.
Yeah, like for me, like business hours it's just like creating like so much space in my world, and actually allow me to go like beyond like all the thoughts, that like feelings that I'm aware of, and I'm not actually, yeah, like and get like affected by them. Like every time, like if I'm in a like space like a little bit like cranky or like not totally sure, like I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Like when I just like do, and I usually just like call like one of your ladies, like Liz, Debbie, or like Rachel, and she's like, oh, can we do business hours? And like just like yeah, like let's do the business hours. And it's just like so beautiful to just like read through like the like tools of touch entities, and like the way that Shannon like put it just like create like a massive space, and like whatever going on, it's just like start to like dissolve, and just like, oh my God, like I can keep going with through my day like with so much ease and so much joy, and I absolutely love it.
Beautiful. Will I go?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
So can you imagine that I've been playing with these tools 9 years, and I only got to on the Talk to the Entities recently that anytime I have anxiety, it's not mine, it's the awareness of an entity. It was one of my signs and signals, and because my nose used to run, or I hadn't recognized that it was a reactive emotion, a reflexive behavior that I had in regard to being aware of entities. And I know this, some people watching this might be like, huh? Yeah, I actually didn't recognize that when I get anxious, it was a reflexive responder to reacting to pushing entities away instead of looking at what I was aware of. It changed my whole world. It really did. And so what it has done for me is that I still had a lot of areas that I was withdrawn that I can't deal with. Do you know what I mean? I still had a lot of areas in my life that I decided I can't deal with this, whether it was people, particularly with entities, the spirit world, and particularly some aspects of business. So the wondrous thing, Shannon says, if you do your business hours, that the universe will contribute to you and entities will contribute in ways that are so expansive and miraculous, it'll just blow your universe. So what has occurred for me since the business hours is that I have created things that I had like decided were absolutely impossible. And it was like a concrete, you know, sometimes when you hit a concrete wall.
Yeah.
And just a beautiful little story. Recently, I was in business hours. I became aware of an area in Holland, and I just started talking to it and doing the clearings. And it turns out now that I live part-time in Holland and part-time in Ireland, and so basically, I'm going to live in this area for a while now. And so it'll find me places to live. It'll, like, I was looking for something temporary to live. It'll find me ways to get around things. It's so interesting. It brought me a new accountant. It brought me a new bookkeeper. It has brought me so many people that are willing to function from the 5 elements of intimacy. And yeah, the miraculous part for me is that I have to say that I absolutely know I'm provided for and that I can deal with anything no matter what shows up. And I didn't have that. I genuinely even things that I think I can't deal with, I'm showing up no matter what.
And things that I can see that other people really create as a problem, like I'm really able to choose a different level of ease now. What you're saying now really resonates, Rach, because I'm and my business ideas and creations are exploding. I'm getting stuff done, and it's all from a space of, okay, I'm really choosing ease. I'm really choosing for me. I'm really choosing in the moment things that work. And then like stuff are coming. Tuesday morning, I didn't really want to get up. I just had stuff, and I was like, you know, my husband been away for 2 weeks. And I was a bit like, yeah, I was having like a moment. And I sat there and I chatted to a friend and we started talking. And by 1 o'clock, I'd like created an idea for a campaign. I'd spoken to someone that did the graphics. By the end of the day, it was done. And that was all like from my bed.
So
but it was based on like really being present and actually every morning I do the business hours lying in bed, have a little look at what's going on. And I had a story that I wanted to share because my husband was in Dubai and he got really ill on the Friday and he did a COVID test. It wasn't COVID. And then the next day he said to me, I'm so itchy. I'm really itchy. And he's a bit like a portal sometimes. Don't tell him that, but there's so much around him. And the minute I said it's sense, he's like, whoa, there's like gazillions here. And then we spoke about it and he's like, oh my goodness, this guy actually made me sick so I could stay here and speak to him. And that's why I'm so itchy. And then, you know, he did his clearing and his way of working with it. And I was like, isn't that amazing, the awareness that we have? And when we tune into it and what a contribution. After that, like by that evening, he was fine. He was fine. He was better. He got up, he went and he was back at work. And I was like, isn't that amazing that we just need that awareness of like, what is this, you know?
And the energies that are around us that we're dealing with and people's automatic autoresponders, expectations, you know, so that it just builds this massive presence of being and receiving. And I know when I'm being and receiving that I can do anything. Yeah, we invite you to business hours, 14 weeks we'll show up once a week. It's tonight at, is it
9:15 p.m. CET,
which is 12:15 on the west coast of the States. And so it's a no-brainer for me. It's something that I can't even begin to. There is no value of give and take in it. It is a universe of expansive, miraculous possibilities. And by goodness me, am I grateful that the two of you guys show up and choose these business hours. So we invite you to more receiving. We invite you to more being. And what if your greatest superpower, your greatest strongness is your ability to be present with these energies and not be impacted by anything that is not the expansiveness of ease, joy, and glory. If it's not expansive, it's not you. And I do want to say, it did take me quite a while to unravel, unfold, and come away from the reactive behaviors that I had decided were mine, that were not mine, that they were it was massive awareness of entities. We invite you to more of you.
Great. Just a question. I wonder if people would like to know exactly what the business house is and just know that the prereq is the beginning class.
Prereq is the beginning class. We'll have another one coming up in a couple of weeks if you haven't done it, because we're addicted to them. And so basically you come in and we go through the receiving, the perceiving, we practice your exercise, your muscle of presence with entities. And we finish with a beautiful relaxation exercise, the perceiving exercise from the book. And it's so funny, the amount of people that have walked through Talk to the Entities beginning, but they're not doing their business hours, even facilitators of it I've talked to. And the one thing that they all have in common is they are still impacted by, I want to die, or I can't deal with this, which actually isn't theirs. It's the awareness of what they're aware of. So yeah, so you come on and we spend, I think it's like 30 minutes, maybe 40, no meal, probably 40 minutes. And then we take a look at building your muscle, being aware, being present, dropping your barriers, because we erect these barriers without even knowing. Do you ever wake up and you know you have a barrier to your day? So it's really becoming aware of energetically when you're erecting a barrier, and then it's dropping those barriers and really allowing yourself to receive. It's huge. I'm not even going to diminish this or dismiss this. It has been a huge muscle of presence for me, and it's something that I still automatically don't go to. I still have to choose it and show up and do it. So how does it get any better?
How does it?
How does
Thanks,
it?
guys. See you later.
Bye. Thanks for being here with me, guys.
Bye. Thank you.